is it gonna be like a time served, or is it really gonna be time?
No, they gonna hit them because they're gonna have to. Like I said, it's because of what the public sentiment is. Like, for example, like now I'm reading this thing on Yardbarker that says the Patriots are bracing for 6 to 8 games. Keith Olbermann is calling for a year. Shannon Sharp is calling for 6 games, and other people are saying 4 games, and so it's going to be somewhere around there because that's
what 6 games will really send a statement.
That's what the public is calling. And look, man, I don't want to see Jimmy Garoppolo. And here's the funny thing today: how about those two dudes have the same agent? Garoppolo and this dude Donnie is both of their agents, so he don't really lose. I don't think. I mean, if Garoppolo gets out there and plays well, guess what? We're going to need some more money here in a couple of years, old Bill. If he's the heir apparent. It's just like everything that's happened today as far as this whole Deflate situation, it just keeps getting weird. And I know why, because there's not a lot to talk about, so you have to generate content. Right. You have to generate different avenues. Like now the whole thing about like blaming the 2 dudes or blaming the equipment guys. Like Colin got into something today. I guess he said something about the equipment guys. He was responding to callers or emails or somebody saying that he doesn't relate to what that is to be the average man. The position these guys are in, they just can't be like, hell no, Tom, I ain't doing that. They can't just do that. You know what I mean? He was like, sure they can. Because if I was one of those guys, and Tom Brady asked me to deflate footballs, I'd go home to my wife and said, I've got to find another job. Nah, you ain't gonna do that. You, Colin Cowherd, would do that, but not Colin Cowherd, the lifetime equipment manager of the Patriots. You wouldn't do that. See, it's a different perspective that these dudes have. And then he got into one of my favorite subjects, man worshiping. And I agree totally with that whole situation. Like, I don't believe in none of that foolishness. Like, I always talk about, like, if Kobe Bryant does something off the field and your son is so upset by it that he can't function, you're a bad parent. You're a terrible parent. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that should have no effect on your kid. It should be like, well, that sucks. I won't get to see Kobe on the court.
It should be a lesson.
Right. Yeah. Screw that. If your son looks up to a man that he doesn't know that much, please. Yeah, you're a bad dad or a bad mom. So I agree with that part.
You're not bad. You're terrible. Yeah. You're terrible.
But he was trying to put that on these guys. Like, see, that's the problem. These guys are man worshipers. And, if Tom says it, they jump to it. And the fact of the matter is Tom is the figurehead of the organization by all intents and purposes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if he says do something, you going to cause yourself way more strife than that. And then here's the other thing, too. If you're asking this dude to walk away from a career that he's had. Like, he was there before Tom Brady. And it's a good chance, without this whole deflate thing, he'd be there without Tom Brady. So if it comes down...
And that's what, 12, 13?
I don't know. Hasselbeck said his dad was a player for the Patriots. And when he was a kid, they were kids together doing this job.
Right.
I was like, and the way he put it just made it sound even worse. He was like, this is the only job this dude has ever had. Ever. I was like, God, that's a lot of things, man. And it puts a lot of different thoughts in your mind.
He put it on the line for Tom.
Like, damn. But it's unfortunate. I talked about it yesterday. It's unfortunate, but everyone's trying to blame. Like John Sally, TMZ caught up with John Sally. He called the dudes the B word. Those dudes really the dudes that gave up the cell phones. Well, John Sally, you don't know the whole story. They had league or Patriot cell phones.
Yeah, league phones. Yeah.
That's what that is. So, I don't know, man. It's just getting so weird, and everyone has to be on one side or the other, and you got to be like, oh, everyone's hating on the Patriots, and that's why I say again, I love being here in this space because I don't care. I just want to watch good football, and I have an utmost appreciation for greatness, and the fact that I'm living in a time where I get to see one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play in the NFL play. I appreciate it. Like, deflated balls, inflated footballs, whatever. He's still. So quit the whole, that's tarnishing his reputation, and, that puts an asterisk by the Super Bowls. You're an idiot. Because here's the real deal. That's kind of like shutting all that down. That the fact that he threw the ball better in the second half of that game.
After they reinflated him.
Yeah, so there's that. But that doesn't excuse it either, because you have to look at every aspect of what the football is. You know what I mean? If first of all, I'll say again, if it has no benefit, then why do it? There's a reason you did it. I don't know what the reason is, but for whatever reason you did it. You know, you see A-Rod now. A-Rod just hit his 661st. He's hitting home runs. He's on the pace. Oh, here's that word. He's on pace for like 35, 40 home runs this year. So you look at that.
Yeah, they talking about 763.
So you look at that and you say, well, damn, A-Rod. You look at Ryan Braun. I just mentioned him. He's hitting home. He's like on 7 to 8 home runs this year. And you look at it and say, well, what the hell? Why were you? Well, who knows why? I say it's for recovery. You know, you're playing 162 ball games, you know, a couple times a week. You need to recover faster. You need to get your body back to as close to optimal as possible. So I attribute it to that, to recovery. But you see guys who have talent just have talent.
Yeah, I mean, and I can go for that. I mean, because we've seen both ends of the spectrum. When you talk about something like that, you know, like A-Rod, we seeing this like overly muscular A-Rod. You know what I'm saying? But then we saw Barry Bonds go from being an all-star to being like the Incredible Hulk. You know what I'm saying? Mark McGwire and Jose Canseco, the same thing. Like, you know, we saw these dudes inflate. So I could go with the whole recovery thing.
Yeah, and that was the thing with A-Rod, because since he was 17, he was a big kid. So it wasn't like, you know, the Barry Bonds, the Pittsburgh Barry Bonds versus the Giants Barry Bonds. A-Rod was already a big kid, so people projected him to be a bigger guy anyway. So, and then too, you know, it kind of left the steroid era and got into more of the performance enhancing era. And, you know, obviously we understand those are two separate ball games that we're playing here. When you're talking about anabolic steroids that make your body grow, and HGH and those things increase your testosterone level. When we're talking about things like just the PEDs to recover your body better and to help you bounce back from, you know, injury and those type of things, like Andy Pettitte talked about when he came back to the Yankees. But anyway, getting back to this Patriot situation. This is the Sports Kings podcast. I'm Big Mike. The other voice that you hear is Rob Calloway. We're on Spreaker.com and on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sports Kings Live. We're also on the email, sportskingslive@gmail.com. So hit us up. And the other thing that's kind of that's got to stop too is the whole everybody does it thing. No one cares. I damn sure don't. Because if everybody does it, then that makes you a bigger fool for getting caught. You just got caught.
Somebody else did.
Yeah. That's whatever. You got caught. So stop telling me everybody does it, this, that, and the other. And then the other part about everybody does it, now people decide they want to attack the rule itself. Well, that's a stupid rule. Don't matter. No matter. If you had a problem with it, say it out loud. Because here's the thing: Brady and Manning are the ones who help implement the current status of quarterbacks being able to handle their footballs before games, being able to scuff them up and put them in dryers and things like that and deflate them, you know, within this certain range. So the people who don't understand, you know, well, I don't see why you just can't just put it where you want it to be. Well, because you can't. And I'm sure there's some sort of scientific reason why. I know personally, if you look at a football, anyone who has a football, you listen to this, go look at it. On the football, it tells you a certain PSI that this football is optimal at. The NFL has expanded it and said you have between this range and this range. And what that keeps you from is from anyone falling into a situation that Tom's in. Because if I say it's right at 12.5, well, anything above or below is a problem. But if I say between 12.5 and 13.5 or between 11.5 and 13, but now I give you a range of, you know, for all these things that people are talking about, atmospheric pressure and the playing conditions and all this kind of foolishness, it gives you a range to fall into. Now, if you decide to go a pound less, it ain't just got to be about throwing the football, ladies and gentlemen. If I'm up on you by 12 points and all I want to do now is hand the football off, and I know the other team is going to be raking at the football, how much more of an advantage would it be if the football isn't as plump?
Your running back get to squeeze it.
Yeah.
He can squeeze it.
Right.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So there are certain other elements than just throwing the football and gripping the football if you're Tom Brady. There are other things to consider in this situation than just, you know, the things that they tell you, you know, well, it's Tom Brady. You know, he once threw 50 touchdown passes to Randy Moss. Of course he did. Yeah, that's true. That's true and fine. But then smart people, analytical people start looking into the rate of fumbles for the New England Patriots ball carriers in the last 2 years. It's a lot lower than the rest of the league. That's the situation. Or not. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. But the numbers are what they are. The facts are what they are. Those are facts. Now, I don't know if you can attribute it to that. And
what I mean,
and Damian Woody hit your man with it again too, with the same thing I hit him with yesterday. He was like, "Yeah, if you think this is the first time, you're a fool." And I was like, "He's right. There's no way these things could have been done so exact."
Didn't they play together?
Who?
You talking about Damian Wood and Teddy Bruschi?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, because he said, Damian, this is a guy who you centered for, and you hiked hundreds of thousands of balls to over 2 years and won 2 championships for, and you don't believe him? And Woody was like, nope. It was so outstanding, man. I was like,
I can remember Bruce. I can remember him and Teddy Bruschi played together.
They did. I was like, please fight. And for the rest of the show, this was at the beginning of the show, so the rest of the show, both like you can always tell when one dude is like over it, because like Woody was over it, but Bruschi was still pissed. Like they were doing like a segment about, because it was like this dumb segment. Mike Wallace says he's the fastest guy in the league, and you know he'll challenge anybody. Bruh, catch balls. You know what I mean? Because if you want to keep it real, if somebody put Mike Wallace in front of my face and Des Bryant, guess who I'm going with? Yeah, 88. Let's go. Leave the fast dude alone. You fast and can't catch, I don't need you. Dude.
It's been plenty of them come through the NFL.
I'm the fastest guy in the NFL. Who cares, dude? Run routes. Catch the football. So anyway,
you got to do something great for people to care about that, like how when Chris Johnson went for 2,000 yards, then when he raced the cheetah, everybody wanted to see.
Antonio Brown, I believe Antonio Brown's just as fast, but you know what Antonio Brown can do? Catch me 100 balls. 100. Idiot. Oh man, what else happened in this thing? I had to write notes now because my thoughts were just going all day long about this thing.
I saw something today that was kind of funny to me, really quick. It's just out color. You know, I know you saw Bill Simmons leaving ESPN. You
know what's funny about that? I read this article maybe about 3 weeks ago about him and his contract negotiations and the things he was going through. And did I mention that on the show, or I don't think I did. I didn't. It was in my notes like 3 weeks ago, and then this happened today, and I was like, I cursed. I was like, God, dog, this is why when you see things, your instincts have to kick in. And even if it's not a real story, at least mention it. Have an opinion so that now when it happens. But anyway, go ahead.
Nah, I saw the email that they sent out, you know, saying that he was leaving. You know, same thing they sent out for us. You know, wishing well in his future endeavors. But the one thing that caught my eye, it said, cake will be served.
That's ridiculous because he wasn't even there. Hold on, wait a minute. Are you sure that what you saw was authentic? It wasn't like a Deadspin article or something crazy like that?
No, it wasn't. No. It was real. It was legit. They was like they was going to have a farewell party for him and the cake would be served.
He ain't even there. He's never there. He don't go to Bristol. Yeah, he's never there. That dude found out about him being fired on Twitter, like the rest of us. Yeah. The dude who did the firing, his name is John Skipper. He's the president of ESPN, and here's his quote. He said, "I decided today that we are not going to renew Bill Simmons' contract. We have been in negotiations, and it was clear it was time to move on. ESPN's relationship with Bill has been mutually beneficial. He has produced great content for us for many years, and ESPN has provided him with many new opportunities to spread his wings. We wish Bill, continued success as he plans his next chapter. ESPN remains committed to Grantland, and we have a strong team in place," which means, Bill, your product has outgrown you, and we can run without you. That's if I can translate that real quick. And for those of you who don't know this, Bill Simmons and Grantland do those 30 for 30s. You know, those things we love so much, those in-depth exposés. But they're like, yeah, whatever. Bill, thank you, but no thank you. He's been there for 14 years. And, he's been very incredulous. He's been a guy who's been very outspoken on some things. He got suspended for criticizing Roger Goodell. He's one of the guys who criticized how terrible First Take is, which, I stand up and clap for that. Like, I'm not a Bill Simmons guy, but my man, you know what I mean? I don't care if you my label mate. If you're bad, you bad. Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, things like that happened, and now, you know,